buy beer for lots of reasons. The smell, the taste, the price. What about the name?
2020 is behind us, thank God. Let's talk about our hopes and dreams for 2021.
I'm Glen Macnow, he's Joe Sixpack. We're at the Two Rivers Tap Room in Quakertown for the New Year's edition of What's Brewing.
Is brought to you in part by Monco Makers, powered by the Valley Forge Tourism and Convention Board. Download the app. By Visit Bucks County. We are open. Travel responsibly. Follow the Bucks County Ale Trail. Go to visitbuckscounty.com/ale trail to get your passport. By the Craft Beer Trail of Greater Philadelphia. 5 counties, 90+ breweries, and 1,000+ craft beers. And by Conshohocken Brewing Company, now shipping beer to all of Pennsylvania at ConchiExpress.com.
It's a place that inspires the dreamers, the overachievers, a place for those who follow the path, as well as the ones who blaze them. So whether you want to go with the flow or rise above it all, visit Bucks County and be inspired.
Hey, welcome to What's Brewing. I'm Glen Macnow, along with my pal Joe Sixpack. We're at the Two Rivers Tap Room in Quakertown. What a great place here.
Beautiful fire pit for us to hang out and drink beer at.
Yeah, on a nice windy afternoon. This is part of the Two Rivers Brewing Company in eastern part of the Bucks County Ale Trail. By the way, nice hat. Looks good on you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Back at you.
We always begin with our beer swap, and we're doing a little bit of a different one today, and the reason is because we were at Tasker's Beer Barn for a show recently. I walked by and I saw this can, Weird and Gilly Double Dry Hopped IPA by Single Cut Brewing out of Astoria, Queens, and I said, I gotta have this. I don't know if it's any good. They assured me it was, but it was the name.
A name made you get a beer.
A name made me get a beer. Do you know who Weird and Gilly are?
I have no idea.
Weird and Gilly are the guitar players with Ziggy Stardust on the David Bowie album Ziggy Stardust. The Spiders from Mars.
The Spiders from Mars. I should know that. I played on a softball team named the Spiders from Mars.
It's one of my favorite albums ever, and Single Cut turns out names, by the way, Single Cut is a kind of guitar, which is, I guess, where they derive their name. And all of their beers have kind of these obscure musical references. Joe Sixpack, I respect that.
Okay.
So let's give it a try.
All right, so just based on the name, we're drinking this beer.
This is a juicy IPA. We talked about juicy in our last episode. 6.8% ABV.
I would never guess 6.8. This is too easy drinking. This is like really morning breakfast beer.
Yeah,
it's
really pretty
really light-bodied.
Yeah, but nice, not spectacular. Let me put it this way. I'd buy it once for the name, and then I'd probably move on. I don't love it, but again, I love the name.
Okay, fair enough.
All right, what about you?
All right, so I brought one, and this has actually got a great name, but it also has a story behind it. French Toast Bites Ale. French toast, come on, French toast.
Oh, I love, come on, I can't resist that. You're
really?
right.
Right, well this beer
is that this? You poured this for me?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
So this beer is
brewed
by the folks at Doylestown Brewing Company, but it was created by Charisse McGill, who is from Local Artisan Foods. And this beer, I think we can declare...
Smells like French toast maple syrup.
She is the first Black woman to create her own signature beer in Philadelphia, or in Pennsylvania. So
cheers to her.
Yeah, absolutely.
Give it a shot.
She's got a whole company. She's an entrepreneur out of Temple University. You might see her food around the city, but she created this beer with the folks at Doylestown.
I definitely get the
oh wow, big.
Yeah,
big.
you get the French toast maple syrup kind of sweetness to it, but not overwhelming sweetness.
No, but it's actually, you know, I get a little maple in there.
Yeah,
I enjoy. This is a good beer. I like this.
So so it's her idea. Who's the brewer?
Well, Doylestown made it.
Okay.
But they make a lot of beers for a lot of folks in Bucks County. They are doing a lot of contract brewing. It's a great business setup they have there, and we've had actually a couple of the beers out of that brewery. But French Toast Bites is sort of
you know what? It's
one.
clever.
Yeah, it is.
And it's not something I would drink on a regular basis. But you know what? It's kind of it's a little fun, funky.
Yeah,
not bad.
Absolutely.
All right. Speaking of that kind of thing. Waffle House, the famous diner chain, is now making its own official beer. Again, collaboratives are a big thing these days. They're doing it with the Georgia-based Oconee Brewing Company. Does that mean anything to you?
No, not at all.
I never heard of them either. But here is the picture of the can, which has their iconic logo on it. And it is a red ale, 6.3%. Unfortunately, I don't have any with me. But what you get is the scent of bacon. So they went strong with the bacon and eggs. Get a little eggs in there. I don't know how you do that.
We got to track down that beer for ourselves. So
yeah, there you go. Malty sweetness of the base beer blends perfectly with the salty, savory, smoky bacon extract to create a unique beer. I'll try anything. In fact, if I go to Wilmington these days, what can I try?
Right, they're making a Joe Biden beer in honor of his travel on Amtrak.
Okay. Oh, it's in honor of the travel on Amtrak. Okay, there's one problem with that. Joe Biden doesn't drink beer.
It's true, which is kind of distressing in my opinion, because I've said before that I'm not sure I would trust a politician who doesn't drink.
Two presidents in a row.
Well, we're going to give Joe Biden a break here. He hasn't even been president yet, so we'll see how things go.
Okay.
So.
Never trust a man who doesn't drink beer. Wasn't that Ben Franklin said that?
I think he said that, exactly.
One of the founders of our country. He knows these things. All right, anyway, I'm looking forward to trying this beer myself, one of the great products of the Two Rivers Tap Room in Quakertown. When we get back, it is a new year. We think 2021 is going to be better than 2020. Kind of has to be. We're going to give you ours and our viewers' hopes and resolutions for 2021 next on What's Brewing.
Hey Zoom World, I'm Marissa Magnata.
And I'm Chill Moody. Look, breweries need our support now more than ever.
Many breweries offer delivery and takeout services.
And beer makes a great gift.
Go to visitphilly.com for more information.
Hey everybody, it's cold outside and that means it's the winter beer season. Head to any Conshohocken Brewing Company location or local beer retailer for Conshohocken Brewing's seasonal lineup. We've got 2-hour delay hazy winter IPA, Mr. Robusto, a robust porter, and 2-time World Beer Cup award winner Puddler's Row ESB. Those and our others are sure to ring the bell this winter season. That's Conshohocken Brewing Company. Cheers. Welcome back to What's Brewing. He's Joe Sixpack. Follow him on Twitter at beer_radar. I'm Glen Macnow. Follow me at Real Glen Macnow. The show is at What's Brewing PA. Easy enough. Happy New Year. Before we do anything, I'm going to toast you with one of their great beers here at Two Rivers. This is the Kiwi Dutchtown Smoothie Double IPA.
That's right up your alley.
Just
All
about
right.
8%.
I've got the Baltic Porter. We've had this on the show before.
Ooh, this is nice.
Huge fan
of
porter beer.
That. Yeah.
So, and Baltic, just a wonderful style.
Ooh, it's a little tart, this puppy. All right, as we enter 2021, we know it's got to be better than 2020. You've got a can to attest to that.
Yeah, absolutely. Normally we try to find a suitable beer to bring in the new year, but I thought, actually what we need to do this year is ring out the last year.
Throw it in this fire pit.
This is 2020 Social Distancing Edition from McAllister. It's a blood orange IPA, New England style IPA. It actually sort of looks like something very fizzy. You might want to toast it New Year in.
Yeah.
So
there
cheers.
you go. Here's to you, L'chaim.
Wow.
I don't like it.
You're not into it? I
Nah.
like this, like a juiciness to it.
Yeah.
I
No.
All right,
Hey,
sure.
speaking of New Year, just one quick thing. A year ago when we were doing these shows, I remember brut IPAs were suddenly a thing. And then like 2 weeks later, they were no longer
Yeah.
a thing. What happened?
They just disappeared. It's amazing that everybody's saying it's going to be the new style. You know, it was based on the kind of yeast that was being used that was turned the beer very dry and crystal and sparkly, and it just sort of disappeared. And a number of people have tried to investigate, you know, why did it disappear? Or,
People didn't like it, I suppose.
well, no, I think it was more that people didn't know what it was. What is a brut IPA supposed to be? People could not figure out what a brut IPA was supposed to taste
All right.
like.
Speaking of different styles, this leads good transition to our New Year's hopes and resolutions, ours and our listeners. So here's my hope for 2021. Maybe far-fetched. A style catch-on, maybe ESBs. I'm a fan of the ESB. I want to see something else gain traction this year.
Something that people aren't drinking. I can
Yeah.
respect that. Something different. I like that it's an ESB because there's a little bit more towards the malt edge of that style of beer. I love malt, and I would love to see that. That's a good hope or wish for 2021.
What do you got?
Mine's very simple. I'd like to be sitting at Citizens Bank Park and watching the Phillies win the World Series
Does this involve beer?
with a fresh beer in my hand.
Well, let me put it this way. You may have a good chance for the fresh beer. I don't know about the Phillies. I don't see that. We asked our listeners on Twitter and Facebook to give us theirs, our viewers, excuse me. And here's some of them. I'll run them by you, give me your thoughts. Stan Broski, my resolution is to drink at least 50% Pennsylvania beers this year.
That's a worthy resolution. It's probably possible, but given the fact that so many like national brands are out there at our fingertips, and good ones at that, it's going to be a tough one.
Gregor Monster, my 2021 beer resolution is to destroy a whole case of Hams and Hams Light back to back.
Ooh, okay, that's very high.
Matthew Massari, to skip the trendy, weirdy flavored beers and just find the best damn lager I can.
I like that idea, and there's a lot of good lagers that are emerging. I bet you there's going to be a lot more in 2021.
Here's a guy after our own heart, George Tregear. To continue my streak of at least one New Year a day, it started approximately 3 months ago. Good for him. You can do that, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Where's my Weird and Gilly? Having some more of that. All right, and here's some of people's hopes for 2021. Louis DiLeonardo Sr., I hope that people stop making beer with fruit in it. How's my kiwi doing?
That definitely ain't happening.
And here's my favorite one of all of the ones we got, and we got over 100. Eric Borner. My hope is that the next dose of Corona vaccine comes with an additive to an imperial stout that requires a minimum of 3 doses. That means a lot of converts to a great beer style that isn't an IPA.
Oh, I'm right there. I want to be inoculated right now.
He wins the day. Anyway, thank you to everybody, and we do wish everybody a great new year, and the 2021 is going to be better. Coming up, we're going to give you the latest results of our craft beer brew down. Joe Sixpack, Glen Macnow. What's brewing?
It's a place that inspires the dreamers, the overachievers. A place for those who follow the path, as well as the ones who blaze them. So whether you want to go with the flow or rise above it all, visit Bucks County and be inspired.
That's What's Brewing Beer Brew Down is sponsored by the Craft Beer Trail of Greater Philadelphia. 5 counties, 90+ breweries, and 1,000+ beers. Vote for your choices on Twitter at beer_radar, Real Glen Macnow, or What's Brewing PA.
Hey, welcome back to What's Brewing. We're at the Two Rivers Tap Room in Quakertown, having a great time here by the fire pit. Joe Sixpack, Glen Macnow, And that means this is the time of the show where we review our field of 32. You've done great work. End of the first round.
Yes, the end of the first round. We had two final matchups here. The not so independent category pitted Cigar City High Life IPA.
Good beer.
Against Oscar Blues Dale's Pale Ale, the first really truly mass marketed canned beer. And the IPA won. High Life from Cigar City, 63%.
That much?
Yeah, it was pretty brutal.
Surprised,
actually.
very surprised.
Well, we'll talk about that in a second. But the other one, the other matchup, was old school breweries, and I pitted two sort of not in the Philly area, obscure old school breweries. Stevens Point Special Lager up against the Shell Deer Brand
I don't
Lager.
know either of these. Where'd you come up? These are among the 32 most popular, huh?
Yes, they are. They're the big ones
The
from
number
these
31
companies.
and 32?
And exactly, there was a play-in for this one, I think. So this Stevens Point won by 80% almost.
I'm assuming not as many votes in that.
No,
I mean, we had 800 votes.
65
yeah,
votes.
nobody had them. All right.
People had not had that.
So
beer.
as we, you're our Dick Vitale here. As we finish the first round and we're down to 16, what's your observation?
All right, so the biggest observation is that IPAs rule. I mean, almost in every single case, the IPA ruled. And I guess that's no surprise.
Here's to you, buddy.
All right.
Yeah.
But the only one that went against that was a beer that I actually think is going to go deep into this bracket is Victory Golden Monkey, a Belgian-style golden ale. It beat an IPA, Southern Tier IPA.
Local favorite.
I think it's a local favorite, and I think it's because it's like their big #1 beer. So, but Bell's Two-Hearted IPA, that went in, and that's one of my other favorites to go all the way.
That is a great beer.
It is. We've loved that beer. I think it might have been one of our earlier brackets that went deeply. Lagunitas IPA, I think, is another option because I think it's it's sort of in a weaker category with the globally owned Lagunitas owned by Heineken. I think they're going to go deeply, but I think one beer that is a dark horse that I think you're going to really like a lot for the old school breweries.
What do you got?
Narragansett Lager.
Drank a lot of that back in college, my
Yes.
friend. back in those days when it was, I think, $2.40 a case. Who knows? All right, well, hey, our friend Ava Graham did some traveling up here in Bucks County. She went to the Bishop's Estate Winery in Percy. Here's Ava's report.
Thanks, guys. And now you are at Proper Brewing, where I'm standing today. They actually have Proper Brewing here as well, but we're not at a brewery. We're at a vineyard, and I'm at Bishop Estate Vineyard with Kevin Bishop. How you doing today, Kevin?
I'm doing well.
Doing well. Now, Kevin, your property here is absolutely gorgeous, I may just say. And the amount of places or buildings on your property where people can come and enjoy wine, you are doing a fantastic job. Now, Kevin and his family have owned this land, this farm, for 102 years. Now, Kevin, have you been making wine for all 102 years?
No, we started making wine 5 years ago. We started selling to the public 3 years ago. And before that, it was a dairy farm, so I was a dairy farmer.
Did you enjoy shifting from dairy to wine?
Oh yeah. Winemaking can be very easily or it can be very complex depending on how much knowledge you have. And there is a wine conference that I went to a few times, it's Eastern Wine Conference. They have that yearly, but most of it was just from talking to other winemakers.
So just talking to other winemakers, and now you have this incredible building that we're standing in, which is going to be your tasting room, and when this episode airs, it will be open and running for business. But what I found very interesting is that your tasting room that you have right now, that's where your grandfather used to bottle milk?
Yeah. Yep, used to bottle the milk there for a little huckster run. It was milk and eggs down through Lyon, Lexington, and Calmer area.
All your grounds, you have done such an incredible job of shifting this into the business that it is today, which is a vineyard, a winery that's fully operational. Give me a little idea of what you can expect when you come. Where can I sit? How do I stay warm in the winter?
Yeah, well, hopefully this weekend we'll be opening the upstairs of the barn is where we're at right now. Non-COVID, it's 197 people we're allowed to have inside. Outside we have a patio, and then we still have a couple other buildings that we have for seating as well if this would be full. So we have a lot of indoor and outdoor seating available.
So you have a lot of seating available. Now, do you take reservations?
We do not.
Now, first come, first serve.
Correct.
But you have a vast amount of wine that you can purchase in the tasting room currently downstairs.
Yeah.
Now, what kind of wines can people find here?
We have 21 on our menu, so we have everything from dry whites through dry reds down to the sweeter wines. We have some fruit wines on the menu as well.
Now, if you're going to recommend a glass of wine to warm you up in the wintertime, you have a couple bottles sitting out behind us. Where would you go?
Well, I like the cabs, the Cab Sauv. We have two varieties of that. One is our regular cab. It's aged on oak. The other is the Dark Bishop, which is a cab aged on oak, and then it's in a whiskey barrel for 6 months. So it's very smooth, and it's just an overall good red wine.
I know the wine process does take some time, and you shifted over just 3 years ago. What is the process? Do you have your own grapes growing right now?
Yeah, right now we have about 6 acres of grapes growing. Some of them are mature enough that they're producing well. Some of them are very young yet. We're planting every year. In 10-year period, we're supposed to be able to produce half of what we're selling. So that's what we're working towards right now.
Well, Kevin, it's beautiful what you've done with your location, and you're doing a great job from shifting from dairy to wine, and I salute you and cheers.
Thanks.
Now, guys, it may not be beer, though you can get some here. Please make sure that you put Bishop Estate on the next spot when you're coming around to do your wine tour. This is the location to be. Back to you, Glenn and Joe.
Ava, that was great. That looks absolutely fantastic. Hey, coming up, we're going to talk to Troy Reynard, who runs this place, the Two Rivers Tap Room in Quakertown. Find out all about their beers and the fun stuff coming up here on What's Brewing.
They're not just familiar faces. They're your friends and neighbors. It's their small businesses, a beating heart that makes a neighborhood a home. The places with a pick-me-up or a story that inspires, where you can share a taste of comfort with the personal touch that makes our world shine a little brighter. Support small and make a big difference. Make it local. Make it Main Street. Make it Montco.
The Craft Beer Trail of Greater Philadelphia. 5 counties, over 90 breweries, and over 1,000 beers. Sip your way through it, one beer at a time.
Welcome back to What's Brewing. Along with Joe Sixpack, I'm Glen Macnow, and Troy Reynard is one of the owners of Two Rivers. And Troy, first of all, thanks so much for having us.
Sure.
We had a great time. Thanks for having this fire pit
Absolutely.
here. And tell us a little bit, before we talk about the brewery, let's talk about this place where we're at, this trolley stop, because it is a lot of fun.
Yeah, the Trolley Barn Public Market just opened October 29th.
And you're in here, you're in here with a lot of different food stands and restaurants and so on. And it's open Thursday to Sunday, you said?
Thursday to Sunday. We're one of 3 alcohol vendors. There's also Doan Brothers Distillery and Black River Winery, and then a number of food vendors.
Nice.
So a former actual trolley barn?
Yeah, this is where they stored the trolleys, the local trolleys, both that went up and down Broad Street and that went between here and south of here.
So in the last couple of weeks, we've been to a former vaudeville theater built in the early 1900s. Yeah. This one goes back to the late 19th century, right?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. And we got trains behind us.
Yeah, Quakertown, I don't get up to Quakertown much. It's great. So I enjoyed this Kiwi Double IPA, the Kiwi Milkshake, and now what is this?
That's a Nevins Blind Eye. It's a wild ale.
Nevins Blind Eye.
Yeah,
okay.
it's a nod to the mayor of Easton during Prohibition. who is known to turn a blind eye to spirits and women and gambling.
And this is, what kind of beer? What is it?
It's a wild ale.
There you go. Well, here's to you.
That's a cool idea. I mean, I love these traditional beers.
Oh, I like that.
Traditional
That's nice.
names, rather. I'm not sure if people were drinking sour beer back then, though. So, good one. So
Probably not.
This is another. I know I actually asked for this beer because it's one of my favorite styles, a Keller beer, which is a lager style beer that is aged and is typically a little cloudy. I think this one's a little bit clearer and it's a little darker than I'm expecting, but you're brewing a good variety of beers here at Two Rivers, including these lagers.
We really like to do things that are older and different. One of our most famous beers, the Baltic Porter. Not a ton of Baltic Porters out there. So.
No, we actually have had that on the show, and it's what I've been drinking the entire episode. This one from Two Rivers is outstanding.
And Troy, you got what, some motor oil back there?
Yeah. I got the Jack Buckles. It's a dark Belgian strong ale, like a quad.
Nice.
Jack Buckles?
Jack Buckles was a gangster during Prohibition.
I love how you guys do the names.
And actually was killed in a little place on 611 just south of Easton.
Okay.
So if people want to get Two Rivers, you don't distribute outside, right? So they come here to the Trolley Barn in Quakertown, or
542 Northampton Street in Easton, Pennsylvania.
That's cool. Well, you know, what's going on in here in Quakertown is pretty amazing. This is definitely a kind of place that people should reach out to, because there's three breweries here in town. There's wineries, there's distilleries. It's hard for me to believe, because Quakertown, it's the Quakers. I mean, come on, we're talking about booze here.
No, it's Quakertown's great. Quakertown has a lot of the key elements for economic revitalization, like I saw in Easton 15 years ago. There's good architectural bones. There's a lot of local people really trying hard with some local organizations to revitalize the downtown.
And of course, this is all part of the Bucks County Ale Trail, which is just great. So many terrific places to get around in town. You go to the app, get the checklist, go visit them all. There you go, you got it. There you go. Get your free t-shirt, have a blast.
It's a great tour. There's lots of places in Bucks County, but you know, Quakertown is towards the upper edge. It's worth the trip up the Northeast Extension. I would highly recommend folks go up here.
Well, Troy Reynard, we appreciate you hosting us today.
Sure.
We appreciate your fire pit on this chilly afternoon. We appreciate that too. Joe Sixpack, Glen Macnow. Hey, listen, we appreciate our viewers, and as it's a new year, we hope that 2021 is a good year for you and yours. We'll see you next week on What's Brewing.
What's Brewing is brought to you in part by Monco Makers, powered by the Valley Forge Tourism and Convention Board. Download the app. By Visit Bucks County. We are open. Travel responsibly. Follow the Bucks County Ale Trail. Go to visitbuckscounty.com/ale trail to get your passport. By the Craft Beer Trail of Greater Philadelphia, 5 counties, 90+ breweries, and 1,000+ craft beers. And by Conshohocken Brewing Company, now shipping beer to all of Pennsylvania at ConchiExpress.com.